On behalf of the Agora team, it's my great pleasure to this new iteration of the Agora Talk. Tonight we have with us Nataliya Velykanova, who will introduce us to a wonderful project called Gate22. You may remember, of course, Alejandra to moderate this evening. So I'm very glad to introduce officially Alexandra Bushila. Alejandra is a graduate in History of Art and Psychology from the University of Glasgow. Alejandra is most proud, and she can, of her artistic research in which she experiments with purposeful gatherings, peer learnings, collective emotions, and social intimacy. Alejandra is always working hard, I must say, to create new ways for communities to engage with art. And so now, Alejandra, I'm handing it over to you.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting a presentation. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am super proud to introduce Nataliya Velykanova, founder and art at Gate22, the first museum of digital art and design in virtual reality. Natalia has been a member of the Agora community since our launch. And like most of our community members, she's definitely a multi-potentialite. Architect, visual artist, graphic designer, and now the creator of this wonderful living prototypical space we're going to talk about tonight. So Natalia, you can start your short presentation now.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this talk about new museum spaces. So I would like to start to introduce you the concept of the Museum 2.0. This name of 2.0 is not really from art world, let's say. We use it more in digital technologies, in industry, in these kind of areas. But what it basically means, it's a new generation. It's conceptually something new. It's another level of museum spaces. Before to jumping in and to say what's new, let's see what's happening actually. First, public museums were created as spaces to educate people. It was kind of a visual support where people could get some knowledge. And the museums still have this, let's say, reputation of no fake institutions and that are learning true stuff. And that's a very good part of their potential, especially in our world that is becoming more and more fake. There is information coming from everywhere, and it's very hard to find a true one, the non-fake one. So museums have this good reputation, let's say. And these institutions are starting to be more and more engaged socially, politically. It's complicated to stay neutral. In our society, a lot of structures take some engagement about sustainability, about a lot of social issues. So these are kind of very good part about museums, what they are. But how do we perceive them? If you actually remember your last visit, you will maybe agree with me that it's very interesting but very annoying in the same time. It could be quite boring experience, tiring. So they have this kind of dusty, old-fashioned image of something boring, besides all this potential of very authentic information. So what about new technologies? So some bigger structures with large budgets may use apps, podcasts, interactive walls, augmented reality, virtual reality, whatever, 5G, artificial intelligence. But smaller structures, they don't have budget for that, and they lack also some knowledge about it. They are a bit afraid of new technologies. Some of them, it's really on this level. But we live in society where all the changes are accelerating, especially due to COVID, and digital transformation is there. It's a part of our life now. It's a part of our society. And if we even let COVID aside, if we look at the new generation, children under 10 years old, they are digital natives. So for this generation, to put a VR headset is as simple as to put their socks, actually. It's no big difference. They live with screens. They learn this world through videos, through screens. So for them, it's kind of completely normal, and we'll have to adapt for these generations also. It's a part of society. Digital is everywhere. So why not in museums? So why not to bring it more to culture? So what is this Museum 2.0? What it will look like? It will be surely more digital, as I said, and there is no problem with it, because the only difference between the real experience and the digital one is number of senses that is involved in this process. For example, in real world, we have all our 5 senses operating. In digital world, we will maybe have 2. We will see and we will hear. But our emotions, our thoughts about what we perceive in digital world are very authentic ones. We have true experience. They are not fake. They are true thoughts, true emotions, true experiences. So, there is a kind of very tricky limit between what is real, what is not. And when we go to quark level, we see that even reality is not as real as it seems to be. Museum 2.0 will be community-based. It's also something that is coming more and more in all the levels of our society. Everything is community-based. If you have community, you have everything. Communities interest to some stuff and don't interest to other ones. And so I think it will be the end of mass market museums, like expositions that are created for everybody from 5 to 85. We will need to adapt experiences to smaller social groups, to interest them, to speak about their worlds, their interests, and this kind of stuff. And we will be able to do it in this new generation of museums. Museum 2.0 will be interactive, surely. So we will, let alone the fact just to be an observer, be able to interact with artworks. Why not playing with them? Why not creating some dialogue? So artists will be able also to communicate with public through their artworks, through the action we can do with. And Museum 2.0 will become truly inclusive, global, and omnipresent, as everything is actually, as internet is. So you will be able to access the content wherever you want and whenever you want, from your place or on the go, or it will be really unlimited. So Museum 2.0 will have much less limits. And so all these reflections brought us to create Gate22. So it's a new generation museum of digital art and design in virtual reality. What we would like to do is to fuse these two worlds, the art world and it's a very highly technological world, together, and to take the best parts from them, to take art where is creative, imaginative, enriching and intimate, and to make a good marriage with technology that is very immersive, innovative, limitless. Capacities are really limitless in digital medias. And so Gate22 will be a door to a free and imaginative space where we will be able to showcase the best digital creations, and the public will become truly an actor of their experiences. So our ambition is to promote and to popularize digital arts by creating this unique museum space. So why did we choose virtual reality? There are other ways to do it. Because when you are speaking about some 2D digital art content, let's say we could put it on the screen. But when you go to 3D content, some animated stuff, some interactive stuff, it's really not working on 2D. We are fed up with all these screens and projections. It's only about screens and projections. You will tell me that in a headset, it's also a screen. Yeah, sure. But it gives you an illusion of being there. It gives you crazy immersion, and the biggest difference between digital experience and the virtual one in our world is the level of concentration. Because when we are navigating all day long in digital space, on internet, on whatever you're doing on your computer, your attention is really hard to catch. There is a lot of information. There is a lot of buttons to click. It's very complicated to be concentrating on something, on one thing. And we are used to zap information. There is so many information, so we are passing very quickly. So it's kind of this user experience on Instagram and all the other social medias. And I find that it's a pity to consume artworks like that on this speed. We would like something better, something more. And VR, when you put your headset, you have no choice. Your attention is captured for 100%. You are in another world. You are really there. You are in conscious, present, and there is nothing else disturbing you. So that's why we choose this media, because besides the potential to show some 3D objects, moving objects, it's also kind of best conditions to connect with the artwork. Even in the real world, if you are honest with yourself, when we are visiting museums or gallery, we're just passing in the corridors or in the halls, and we just keep an eye and we follow our path. We don't really stop much on each artwork. So in Gate22, there will be no choice. You will really have to spend time with it. The time that artists imagine, you will have to spend too, and these are kind of best conditions. And so what we will do exactly, we will create cultural content for VR to develop cultural branch of this technology. And our exhibition will include ultra-contemporary artworks created directly on digital medias, and mostly from still living artists. So it's really about something that's happening here and now. So it's not a museum that is based on already existing collection that is kind of normal for museums. Our museum will be kind of living being. We will construct it with the artworks we will integrate in our exhibition. So it will be very agile, adaptive to what's happening. And we will be able to include all the, let's say, classical 7 art, but there is a lot of classification. But I'm speaking about visual art, sound art, architecture, sculpture, dance, theater, literature, anything, installation, video, and many others. So the experience of the visitor, it will be something on the crossroads with traditional art exhibition, with a video game and some cinema. It will be kind of mixed, something mixed. It's very complicated to call it exhibition, but there is no other word for the moment, so I use this one. So why a traditional art expo? Because it will be an art expo. Why video game? Because it may be highly interactive, so there will be a lot of interaction like you may have in games, in video games. Why cinema? Because we would like to input inside the experience narrative part and also kind of cultural mediation directly in the experience. So visitors, when they will be in front of the artwork, they will be able to understand why the artist did it, what is it, and kind of they will have some keys for understanding what is it about, and hopefully they will not go out from big squared eyes. What was that? I understood nothing. So we would like to avoid it. They will be able to make their interpretation, but there will be a guide explaining them what they are seeing, what is it about, why we created that, etc. And so actually we are about to finish our demo. It's our first VR show called Introspexion. And we would like public to investigate on these questions. Is reality universal or specific to each one of us? Is the world around us a simple illusion, a construction of the mind? So this is kind of quest that we will propose to them, and they will have 3 immersive experiences, 3 artworks, and they will go like step by step, deeper and deeper in this immersion, and they will have to find their own answers because artists are just asking questions and public have to find their answers. We just show them the way to go.
You should also tell them, sorry to interrupt, that we're going to show you a part of the demo after the conversation.
Yeah, we will show you a part of the demo, but it's a very big surprise, very exclusive for Agora digital art. But you will see last few minutes of this demo from your computer. No need of VR heads, but be patient.
You mentioned being guided in the exhibition, and there are many people who would tell you, Natalia, that some of the best experiences they had in museums were actually talking to an enthusiastic tour guide or a gallery assistant or curator or an educator. So because of that, I'm worried about VR's exhibition's lack of social context during visits. Can you tell us more about your plans to make VR exhibitions more social?
Okay, so about guiding first, our guide, her name is Exo, And she is introducing each artwork. It's what you'll see in the short video of the demo. What we would like to do is to propose different level of this narration for different kind of people, depending of do they want to know more or less? What is their age? So there will be kind of basic level, at least to say what's the name of the artist, the name of the artwork.
So like a layered storytelling.
Yeah, like a layers. You will be able to choose like higher level and to know more, maybe something about the creation of this artwork, and maybe there will be extra level for maybe for professional or for very curious people, and maybe there will be even interview with the artist directly inputted. If you will be able to choose it from UI interface. And so we would like to make it as agile as possible, and that every kind of public will be able to not to be bored by a lot of blah blah, but if they would like to have more blah blah, they would be able to have it.
How will you decide, how will you curate exhibitions based on preference? And I know I read on your website that you'll do something such as voting, like the public, the audience can vote what they're interested in.
We would like very much really to make this museum as transparent as possible and to involve public also in creation process, but like staying, how to say it, rational. So for example, we would be able to propose them like A and B version. So we would like to make expo on this topic or on this topic. So which one would you prefer, why, and that, and maybe it will help us to find best public for each topic, and for them also to produce something that will really interest people, and they will be kind of involved in this process. So they will not really be curators, but I would like them to interact a lot and to. It's the problem of museums actually, because it's very closed world. Like public, the information is coming from upstairs, downstairs, and public just can go and like to accept it. Without being involved.
Decision making is very top down indeed. I'll ask you a slightly difficult question, I think, but still worth asking, because Agora has a unique focus on women digital artists. I have to ask you about the inbuilt male bias of the VR experience. I'm referring here to the oversized headsets. Never has a VR headset fit me, for instance.
Really?
To women experiencing far more motion sickness, and even to the headset not being able to track your eyes if you're wearing mascara. So women are not really, I'm worried that they're not designed for women in a sense, if you know what I mean. And so we're left with another platform that just doesn't work well for women, and that is therefore likely to have fewer women in it.
Sure, it's a very male world. XR industry is very male world. It's true. But I would say don't worry, because if they would like really to make it very popular, they will deal with all this stuff. And to be honest, the headset I have, it fits well for me and for my husband, who has much bigger head. It's more complicated, so it's like an inverse problem. I had experience with mascara and with eye tracking. It was working well, so maybe it depends on quantity. But no way technology will go. They would like to be like mass market technology, so they will have to adapt to children with smaller heads. So the last generation of headsets are already much better. They are less heavy and they think about all these issues, and even children can put them without like having headset here. It's working better and better. It's kind of unique size. It's true. Like you have some clothes unique size, but they will have to deal with it. No way. Because women,
hopefully,
they will surely use this technology as well. Everybody thought that it will go in gaming industry a lot, but what's happening is mostly used for education, for kind of training stuff, and in training there are as much women as men, so they will have to deal with that. So I'm not worried much. I think it will come. It will come. Good solution for everybody.
Absolutely. I'm also, it came as a provocation. So my last worry is really that museum visitors have been asking for more contextual information since the 1980s, really, in surveys. Particularly, they've been, I think, craving more transparency around why are certain artworks included and considered valuable and important for museums? So how will Gate22 fulfill this need for digital artworks? How will it explain why is this artwork included and why is this valuable? I guess that's a question for the museums are.
It's a very good question for art world, because what is art, what is not, is very, the limit is very fluid. And for somebody said that digital art is not art, because I can't.
Someone actually renamed this kind of digital artworks as high entertainment, something in between kind of artworks, but still intended for many people to see them, not a niche.
But there is a true difference between kind of art object, so it becomes a decoration basically if you put it in a home scale. It's an object, but digital art is more like experience. And there is really big difference, and you have an experience. You don't have the object, you don't look at it, you experience something. People actually, pay for experience, and they call it maybe entertainment, but we could put it to another level. That's how our world functions now. So we made industrial revolution with all the objects. We created a lot of objects. That was the cornerstone of this, to create a lot of objects for everybody. Then we made digital revolution, so there is a lot of software. So for me, next level of humanity, it will be to join this world and to have kind of mix, so all this XR medias is kind of normal process to trying to put it together. And people are paying for experience, they always did. And it's really something conceptually different from an object that you may kind of admire, but nothing happens.
Yes, but people will still wonder why this experience and not this other experience. Why are you privileging this artist and not this one?
So we will explain them in this narrative part. So we will explain them at least why this artwork is here and in this exposition with linked with this topic. So it's kind of experience request. So all the experience will be like branches of the same tree, and they will serve. So and after this debate on what is art, what is not, who is artist, who is not, it's very complicated stuff.
Absolutely. I think I agree that because it's very similar to the internet. Is it at its best when it's organic, and so not necessarily people will understand that maybe the works kind of stemmed from a community forming and working together and collaborating. So I wonder if that information will be there, because you've told me about your community of artists, and it's quite impressive that in such a short time you managed to build it. How did you build it?
It's the magic of social medias. We launched some calls for artists. The idea is to build quite large community, because we will launch call for projects, and the thematic of exhibition will be very different, and some artists like to work on some subjects and not others, and we would like a lot to mix the domain, so there will be maybe some literature, some visual art, and some sound always. As we are in VR, we will need sound, so all the visual artists will need kind of sound artist companion, let's say. So we would like to create this energy of co-creation between artists from different disciplines.
It's such a geographically is also such a wide spanning community. They come from 45 countries, you've told me.
Yeah, because they come from internet. That's where we live now. So that's why social medias are international. So, and I'm very happy and proud to have people from everywhere. Everybody bring this specific vision from specific place, and that's how we open our minds.
Absolutely,
to be able to see. Yeah.
I'm also very curious, Natalia. Are they looking for an outlet that frames digital artworks better because, well, they're not satisfied with how physical museums present digital artworks? Are they looking for an outlet to showcase works? Artists, I mean.
Artists, I think so. I hope so, because I saw this medium, like portfolio style or Instagram style, is kind of 100 images per second. I wouldn't say you are kind of viewing an artwork. between some millions of other images. And in museums, it's mostly projection, so it stays kind of flat.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, there are some immersive installation and all this stuff, but it's not very well known, digital art. Even a lot of if you ask somebody in the street what is it about, they won't be able to tell you. Since 30 years, or maybe even more, I speak about 30 years, it's kind of beginning of Photoshop, 3D Studio, these kind of apps that helps to create on digital, but even before people were creating stuff. But the public don't know it because it's complicated to show. Museums, they kind of also thought that this is not art, at the beginning. Okay, now it's kind of coming into... start to get used, but what I'm thinking about, it's new generations. People who are born with iPad in their hands, they will surely create on digital medias. So new generation, there will be more creators, I think, in this youngest generation natively, because it's how they live, it's how they do everything. Absolutely. So our art, will be kind of part of it. Yeah.
And I also think that the crisis of the museums right now actually showed that younger generations, they're really just an afterthought for some museums. They were not the main target audience.
No, I met some directors of museums and they say the average age is about 60 years old.
No, yes, sir.
Imagine.
Research shows that it's above 60.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And a younger public, do you imagine they watch videos when in 1 minute somebody can tell you all his life? Or just crazy quantity of information, and they're used to get information like that. So in this kind of slow world of museum, it's too slow for them. they don't. It's not their frequency.
So what I wanted to say is thank you, Natalia, because in Exclusivity, Gate22 offers you the opportunity to experience the first show. So the demo video is in 360 degrees and it's on the left side of the stage on the screen. So please pick up your headphones right now, click and immerse yourself in this exhibition. The artist is the Argentinian Bart Luevano Saavedra, and he invites you to his kinetic installation, the Déjà-vu Factory. So we'll see you in 5 minutes. We leave you now for your viewing pleasure. So thank you very much, both of you, for this very insightful talk. For those of you who have a VR headset, I'm going to copy-paste the link to experience it with the VR headset in the chat. And so if you can send the comment to Natalia at that address, that would be fantastic. And then in the center of the room, you may see as well this fantastic graphic design. You are very welcome to participate in the crowdfunding. I think that Natalia already raised 70% of the pledge for the crowdfunding. There are still a few days left if you want a museum in VR. So thank you very much for coming and bye-bye.
Thank you.